Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's Daryl here. It's 5 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I want to offer up 22 years of my past drug abuse to give my professional opinion on some of Trump's tactics. All right, I'm talking about Donald Trump and his usual diversion tactics. He's asking the Biden camp for a urine. Now, this again, by now we've seen how Trump operates here. It's a diversionary tactic. It's him and his bizarre conspiracy theories, dirty pool playing. Politics, they have a history of throwing mudslinging. That's where the term came from. But Trump has gone to a whole different world, a whole different plane of existence with his. This is more. It works with his base. His base is very conspiracy theory orientated. They feel that there's forces of darkness working against them. That's why they feel like failures, and it must their bad feelings about themselves and their world. It must be somebody else's fault. That sums it up pretty good right there. And, Trump's done this before with the birther thing with Obama, claiming that a person that was elected United States president was born in Africa. First of all, anybody that had basic civics classes in high school would know that presidents are vetted. They have to be born in the United States. The U.S. government, we wouldn't elect somebody that went against the basic requirements for president, that they got to be 35 years old, they have to be a U.S. born citizen, et cetera, et cetera. And to Trump supporters, they feel like the forces of darkness, the deep state, could have somehow aligned this, and it goes beyond a fairy tale. I don't know if they really believe this stuff or if it's just an effort to throw mud on somebody else. Anyway, so Donald Trump this is what he's, because all the taxes and how he's sinking in the polls, his ridiculous mishandling of the coronavirus that's led to over 200,000 dead Americans, calling U.S. servicemen and war dead suckers and losers. In an effort to distract from all that, he's saying that Sleepy Joe must be on drugs. It's almost juvenile. It really is. It's something you'd see in junior high school, where a girl who's jealous of another girl would start accusing her of ridiculous things. It goes along that, and the Trump supporters too, that they go along with this ridiculousness. All right, I had 22 years of drug use. Now, what Trump is suggesting here is that Biden is using some kind of amphetamine. So that's basically, drugs are divided up, and what he's suggesting, I believe, would be an amphetamine. The only other thing close to that would be an antidepressant, and that wouldn't give him a boost. So if we're talking about amphetamines, I've used amphetamines. Believe me, I've used plenty of amphetamines in my life, and there's very obvious physical effects, emotional, mental effects to anyone with any experience, especially me, but especially doctors, anybody in the medical field will spot in a second. Your pupils will dilate to pinpoints with amphetamines, and it's the opposite with depressants or opiates like that. They balloon up. Your pupils become black spots. You can't change this. If he's suggesting that Joe Biden is using any kind of performance-enhancing drugs, it would have to be some kind of amphetamine. And that's how they work. They can constrict the blood vessels and yada, yada, yada. And there'd be definite tics with the face. Your muscles contract very subtly. Unless you know what to look for, like this right here. This is the result of caffeine in the morning. I've already had a couple of cups of caffeine this morning, but coffee. But there's very obvious telltale signs to amphetamine use, and this would be obvious. So Trump is suggesting that Biden, he's almost demanding that Biden take a urine before this, and then Trump goes on to say that of course he will provide one too. And this is just a distraction. It's a distraction to take away, he's trying to, by now we know his MO, man. We know how he works. He's trying to change the subject from 200,000 dead Americans and U.S. war dead being suckers and losers and try to make it about Joe Biden popping bennies before he goes on stage. You don't need a urinalysis for this. If Joe Biden is using any type of amphetamines, anybody in the medical field, anybody with a history of drug use will spot it in a second. You can't hide it. You cannot mask this stuff. These things come, they're body responses to amphetamines. Like I said, the pupils especially, if he's on that stage under those lights, you'll see nothing but the blue in his eyes. And his I believe his eyes are blue. And you won't be able to see, even the pupils will be pinpoints. And then if they switch to Trump and Trump's are way bigger, there might be a question there why. But then again, that could be explained too. But anyway, you don't need to pee in a cup. This is a diversionary tactic. A juvenile. It borders on juvenile, junior high school, petty, ridiculous name-calling kind of thing to the bizarre conspiracy theory. And it embarrasses me as an American. The rest of the world is watching this, and they're watching our president throw around these ridiculous assertions that Joe Biden is using these drugs. And it goes back to just like with Obama. He kept insisting that Obama show his birth certificate. And he had to know that Obama was born in Hawaii. It's just a diversionary tactic. And I think, Obama eventually went along with this just because he was sick and tired of hearing it probably, and showed his birth certificate. But I think giving into this ridiculousness, this diversion is probably the worst thing to do. And along with that, this is the point of this video. I want to tell you guys, the Biden camp, their campaign, I don't have the name of the person that responded that I'm going to quote, but I love it. They basically said, in response to Donald Trump asking for a urine before the debate, and that he would offer up his too, of course, to show that he's not on any drugs, the Biden camp response was, look, Vice President Biden is going to respond to the debate in words. If Mr. Trump or President Trump wants to respond in urine, that's his choice. I love it, man. I love it. Home run, man. Beautiful. I can't swear here, but there's a lot of little quips I'd love to throw down, pee jokes. Anyway. Joe Biden isn't, he might have a cup of coffee or two or something like that, but being a past drug user, I wouldn't want a president on any type of drugs. I've been there. I know what they do. And believe me, if I thought for one second that Joe Biden was using any type of any kind of drug, I would not endorse him. I would point it out. I would take pleasure in pointing it out. Another interesting thing here, I wasn't going to talk about this, but there's been a lot of conjecture about Trump and substances. There's one picture of him sitting at his desk. I believe it was a taco video or taco picture where he was sitting with tacos on the desk, where he was talking about Mexicans. And there's a drawer behind him. And there's boxes in that drawer of some kind of medicine. And I remember hearing conjecture about this, but I don't want to do the same thing and spread conspiracy theories. But this was a picture I saw, and it didn't look doctored, and there's been a lot of... the thing that makes me suspicious here is that Trump has a history of accusing other people of what he's doing right at that moment. He's got a long history. This is it's basically his MO of trying to throw the suspicion elsewhere. It's almost like a guilt complex that he doesn't want to get caught, that he automatically accuses somebody else of doing what he's doing. Again, it goes back to how I said, a liar will always believe everybody else is lying. A thief will always believe everybody else is stealing. Even now, this is a fault of mine, because now that I'm clean and sober, I automatically assume that other people are clean and sober, and that has almost bit me a few times, because I am too assuming that people are doing the right thing like I am, and it's not always the case. All right, so that's my video. I highly doubt Joe Biden will give a urine before tonight. As his camp said, he's going to give his response in words, not urine. All right, you guys have a good Tuesday.